named after Hubert Nathaniel Crichton, the father of trade unionism in Guyana, the wider Caribbean, and the British Empire. The college has played a pivotal role in educating and empowering trade unionists and workers, offering programs on industrial relation, labor economics, and other social studies. GTUC commends the Guyana Fire Service for their swift response in containing the fire. We extend our gratitude to all who have shown support and concern during this difficult time. A special thank you to President Offer Ali for reaching out and committing to help the college rebuild. GTUC is in the process of submitting the necessary documentation to and in restoration effort. Like the Phoenix Fresh Slow Labor College will rise again. Labor Minister Joseph Hamilton remarks on vis-a-vis local and migrant labor. Minister of Labor Joseph Hamilton recent remarks reflect either a misunderstanding of his role or an arrogance common among some politicians to suggest that the government will prioritize foreign workers over Guyanese citizens is a failure on his part and the government. The people he refers to are citizens who, despite challenges, deserves a government committed to improving their lives, not abandoning them at any point. The minister's comment imply a failure to create systems for job creation and fair wages. Just days ago, the ministry launched Occupational Health and Safety Month. Yet construction workers, even within government buildings, are seen and operating in an atmosphere where basic protective gears are not being provided. Such gears like safety boots, helmets, or goggles. The issue is not that the people refuse to work, but that the wages are insufficient. How can a minister expect workers to live on $60,000 a month while he earns $500,000? It is time for the minister to reconsider his stance on workers as their tax dollars pay the salary. Yet he chooses to blame them without addressing the root cause of the dissatisfaction. Guyana current voters list remains inaccurate, with 738,484 names on the preliminary list in 2025, despite the national population being estimated approximately 750,000 to 780,000. This discrepancy highlights the urgent need for electoral reform. Both the Organization of American States and CARICOM have called for comprehensive voters re-registration and campaign finance reform, but these recommendations are yet to be implemented. GCOM is tasked with ensuring a credible voters' roll and overseeing fair elections. Yet reports of irregular voters' registration, such as a significant surge in registration at a single address in Ogun, raises serious concern. GTUC, along with opposition parties like the PNCR, WPA, and AFC, has consistently called for a clean voters list and the introduction of biometrics to prevent fraud. Biometrics, including fingerprint or facial recognition, are feasible and necessary with infrastructure already in place. However, funding is needed to fully implement these measures. GTUC is committed to safeguarding the democratic principles of one man, one vote, and continue to push for these reforms. GTUC has met with GCOM, political opposition parties, PNCR, WPA, and AFC, and GCOM opposition commissions, and has written to both GCOM and the government. GCOM and the government awaiting responses. GTUC has also contacted regional international bodies and is expecting meetings soon. GTUC will doggedly pursue these reforms to ensure a fairer and more transparent electoral reform. That's the end of the statement, comrades.
Thank you, Comrade Lewis. The floor is now open for questioning or any clarification that you may like to have. Barry? Okay, good.
It can be incorrect because the electrical panel is still in place and was never worked. It becomes now a common feature of our fire department to say everything is electrical. Right? We have checked with the assistance of people who are competent in those areas, and we have seen where what is said to us is that where a fire starts, that's the area that will be totally destroyed. Where the area that has been totally destroyed is not an area that it started on a floor that was totally destroyed. The areas around there were not totally destroyed. So no one from fire department have said to us that the fire was electrically the origin of the fire was electrical. Nobody said so. Right? We are hearing this. What we have observed is that even the areas that we consider to be combustible, like where our files and so forth were stored, those files were not destroyed. Right? And that's a combustible area. It's indicative that the assessment is not correct. We have written the OS, we have written CARICOM, we have written those two areas we have written. The EU we have written, Carter Center has been. Our position is very clear. The trade union movement has fought for one man, one vote. Um, and, and that started since 1926, before the people we are giving credit to, the politicians give credit to, long before they were in public life. So we have been fighting for that. Although we are saying that we are standing on the shoulders of Ritual, a man who started the march for adult suffrage, in respect to one man, one vote. That one man, one vote must mean something, and that people are trying in all way to compromise the system. We believe that our political leaders, our political parties, all of them are on board asking for biometrics. The general secretary of the PDP, while they were in opposition, when they were picketing Chairman Suresh Bali and asking him to leave office, they were saying that what they want is enhance biometrics, right? They have asked for that. The parties that are in opposition now, they have asked for it too. So what they all should do is to get together. Don't tell us what can't be done. Show us how it can be done. It is time they go to the National Assembly. If it's a law and that law needs to be amended, let them amend it. They have asked for it. Don't use the citizens any longer to give the impression that somebody wanted that because of the old purpose, and the other person saying if the other side wanted for the who don't want it for the old purpose. Both all of them have said that we need biometrics. All of them have said that we need a clean voters list. And if all of them have said that, then don't find excuses. Go and do it.
Let me answer you this one. Right? Now, for any election to be considered free, fair, and credible, there must be integrity in that system. The system must be fair. It must be a system that the citizen can trust. It must be an honest system. Now, the two major parties, the PPP and the PNC, have from time immemorial been accusing each other of rigging elections, right? Therefore, now biometric, and one of the areas that they've been pointing fingers at each other with when they occupy office at different times. When the PPP is in office, they accuse the PNC of rigging. When the PNC is in office, they accuse the PPP of rigging. And one of the areas that they have been pointing to, where that is employed in the process of rigging, is multiple voting, where one person, right, votes more than one time, as much as 6, 7 times at different locations. Biometrics, which both parties have argued for when they are in opposition at different times, is one of the measures to eliminate multiple voting. It is logical that if both parties have argued, the PDP and the PNC, for biometrics at different times, then any party, any one of those two parties, while in government, to reject the notion of biometrics means that that party is intent on rigging the election. Simple logic. So if the PDP, who General Secretary, who Vice President now, was General Secretary then in opposition, vociferously and vigorously demanded not only biometrics, he said enhanced biometrics. And now, for his party to say that biometrics is not necessary, then we can argue logically that the PVPC intends to rig the election. And we have told GTUC that if this election is rigged, right, we are of the view that there will be serious consequences, right? And whenever there are consequences, it is our constituency that suffers the most, the working people. And therefore, we have more than a passing interest. Not only are we standing on the shoulders of the torchbearer, right, for one man, one vote, and for the struggle for independence, right, but we have a sacred duty to ensure that this process is free, fair, and transparent. And we intend to fight to our last drop of blood to ensure it is. Well, we have taken note of the recent pronouncement of the government of the United States of America to increase the tariff of goods exporting to the United States by 30%. What we have noticed is that for the Caribbean region, the tariff imposed by the United States government is the highest, 30% for Guyana, as against 10 and 50% for other countries. The question is, why 48%, the highest tariff for Guyana? This is a very sensitive issue. It is a very technical issue. And we will not wish to pronounce on it. We are currently engaging the technical persons, economists, and so on this matter. And as soon as we are properly advised, we will be making an appropriate statement. Thank you for that question. We do not want to get involved in the business of whether it be the AFC or the PNC. What is unfortunate, though, however, is what will appear to be a challenge of leadership to agree on the matters of national importance. Because too often what has been happening, and I think that is what has affected the progress of this country over the years, right? Where persons who are supposed to be matured and responsible for it, who ought to be putting, well, you will hear most persons rhetorically saying Guyana first, one Guyana, all kind of Guyana, right? But then when you carefully interrogate those persons and their behavior, their conduct, what you find, right, that they are more focused on their own personal aggrandizement and development rather than national development. Their own personal interest takes precedence over national interest and national development. That's the reality, right? It is most unfortunate that this quibbling between these two parties are still going on, right? But as I said earlier, right, we believe it is their business and let them sort it out. We must not be distracted. We must not be distracted by whatever shenanigans are going on by parties of this. We have a work to do, and we intend to do our work. Any more questions? Yes, I'm good. What is the plan? Let me get it clear. It is a failure. Well, okay. Let me respond. Most of the advanced countries in the world have applied instituted biometric system with little or no problem. I believe that Guyana is considered a country with one of the highest literacy rates. And I think for us to even hazard a guess that we are incapable of effectively instituting a system of biometrics, right, is, I think it will be a statement that will disgrace us as a nation. We are not even, people should not hear us saying that we are afraid to implement biometrics because the system may fail, right? Or the system might be too challenging for us to handle. It's an embarrassment or integrity. You know, Uganda, I think it was introduced by the biometric system within 6 months. Ghana, are we saying that we are less? It is some special gift that the Uganda, special gift that the Ghanaians have that we don't have. Don't let us belittle our intelligence. I think that's what.
let me just think of the president. We cannot start from the position that we are going to win. We have to start from the position that we can succeed. And I believe, even when we spoke with Chico, what was attempted by one officer is to say to us, while biometric has disadvantage, it has disadvantage. In this light, let me say it. You see this pan up here? It takes two poles. It takes a positive pole and it takes a negative pole for us to get the energy to spin that. All that we need to do is have the will for doing it, and we can will the way and succeed. We understand that they said it's 27 million. As a study was done and said 27 million US dollar for biometrics to run the elections. What we need to do when we find out from GCOM said to us, they have said to us that the commission has not yet pronounced on it. So today what we want to do is to say to you that you all the commissioners accountable for anything that happens if we don't get biometrics. Because since the CEO made the point that that a study was conducted and it will cost 27 million US dollars, then it is not a question any longer about money, about the availability of funds. There's a question here where the commission, while some may be talking about funding it for funding the biometrics, some may be saying don't fund it, fund it. What I'm saying to you, that the commission must be held accountable for whatever it is. That's all.
Any more questions, please? If there are no other questions, let me, in closing, once again, thank you for coming. Thank you most sincerely for coming. And wish to see you again in the neighborhood. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant rest. But send it immediately. We have your email addresses.
You sent it. All right. Yeah, you- Yeah, make good nuts.
Yes. Mark and a book, but we have to go. One, he did not require one of them. And how many workers actually going to do staff development? That's very much. So I want to take it to the fact that them are new space and believe that okay.
Send out the press statement. Hello. Send the press statement back to the medium.
Send the press statement back?
To the medium.
Okay.
Good.
All the media.
Yeah, she. I'll pass me back, Seven. You'll go back. You will need to finish. Yeah, we need to go before we are. Let me say something. See the matter. Well, please start. Give me the time. Hello.
Yeah, Andrew's here.
Hello.
You know them people try to come.
Mr. Lawrence, I don't want to know if they could get a joint meeting.
Oh, this, oh, this sound. Yes, yes, see? You know them people try to come in the house again to you know the same stuff with the like in there.
Document, no problem, no problem.